It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Mariam Longe. How are you today?
I'm fine, Twinnie.
We're Twinnie.
Twinnie.
And you brought the Christmas chair for us.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm fine. So there's this book that YK gave us that I think a viewer had sent to us. Yes, yes. When I took it home, my mom said to read it. She finished it. She said from the moment she picked it up, said from the very first page, it was hard to put it down. And she has been advised that I read it, that my son reads it, that it's such a fantastic book. I forget the name now. So this morning on the toilet, I picked it up. I was like, let me just go to.
Just come through. And you were
when I saw 30 minutes gone, I put the book down. I said, not you.
Not today.
I'll wait till the holidays and then I'll read it.
Yes. Happy to hear that. I totally up yesterday and I was thinking about the book.
Okay.
So you now said that he likes it.
Yes, it's a
That's
page
good.
turner.
I'll let him know that your mom gave good feedback. How are you doing, Toby? Long time no see, stranger.
Long time indeed.
I've not seen you during the week in a while. How is everything?
Fine, thank you. I want to say big congratulations to you. I mean, me too. I've not done my own congratulations, Madam MD. So I'm saying congratulations to
Are
you.
you ready, YK, to say MD Mama?
No.
She said she doesn't like that.
Anyway, good to see you. How's everything?
Fine, thank you. My sons, both of my sons, their birthdays tomorrow.
Oh, we've been planning for this.
We've been planning, So it's actually happening tomorrow. One will be 5 and the other will be 2. And
So they're born on the same day?
Yes, it wasn't CS. So
They were born on the same day?
yes, on the same day.
You have,
Really?
Exactly 3 years apart. So when my first child was celebrating his 3rd birthday, we were presenting his brother to him.
you have that situation.
Yeah, I am. Mine was kind of orchestrated, but yours was natural. Imagine that. Fantastic. That's good.
And I've had a couple of busy days. So NBC called me to facilitate a training. For,
NBC.
please, I can't shout.
Congratulations.
For youths in Unilag, Yabatek, and LASU.
Wow, that's
so
a huge
we've done
deal.
for Yabatek and now we're in Unilag. So after the show,
You
I'll
are
be
going
off to
there.
Unilag.
Well done, well done.
I'm
Fantastic.
excited about that.
How you doing, Tokwe?
I'm good though. Montale. I'm selling land and selling houses and preparing for my trip. So I'm going to be in the US into the new year, and I am going to 5 cities across 4 states, and I'll be hosting meetups. I like to make people talk about finance. I've been begging Prince Fubuwe that, Oga, you have to come for my Dallas meetup, that I would like people to have conversations. This is festive season. We always gist anyway when we hang out, but let's talk about our growth and let's talk about development, finance, and how to invest in Nigeria safely. Because when I go there, everybody's like, hey, Nigeria, no, I know they do. People are scamming people, you know, but if you're a good business, then if customers don't come and meet you, we are going to meet them. Yeah. So
What are you doing for New Year, though?
what
are you going to be doing for New Year's?
I've been begging my husband, like, whose family are we going to be?
No family, go to the Big Apple. You gotta experience that Times Square, that ball drop.
Ball drop.
Once in your lifetime. You have to be in Times Square. And you have to watch that ball drop. Make sure you go. Find whatever state you are.
I should
31st.
I should ship
Go and watch
myself
that
to-
ball drop because
to
I mean
the
that's a
office.
good experience. I think the once in a lifetime to have that. So
I'll
try to
pitch
plan
it.
it.
Yeah, I'll pitch it to Mr. Wak.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back,
Is that you're just going to breathe?
how much minutes do I
What
have?
has been happening to
Well,
you?
I had a fantastic praise night at Mr. Tayo Fashogwan's house. Oh my God, Tayo Fashogwan, you're the bomb. Him and his wife, Yinka, they threw this praise party on Monday. Man, I didn't think I was going to dance. Like, I had it.
We saw you screaming.
Fantastic praise. And the band, there's this all-girl band. These girls, man,
But
they're like
you
5
have
of
to go
them.
live.
They were really, you think Lilian Naji was energy. It's not that times 5. They were really, I was like, no, I had fun. I loved it. Well done to Tayo Fashogwan and his wife for a fantastic praise. Okay, let's go on a short break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. No price too much to pay for peace in Rivers, says Fubara. Federal lawmakers to pass budget December 30th. ASUU slams VCs. CBN banks breach loan limit regulation. Makinde canvasses peace as Shaun gets staff of office. EFCC now to beam searchlight on councils. Shebu admits frosty relationship with Obaseki. and expect full manifestation of my reforms next year, Tinubu tells Nigerians. Okay, which story starting with? Okay. The Nation?
So I'll start with the EFCC. So there was a 2-day workshop that they had held in Kaduna State for the local government officials in Kaduna State. And there the EFCC says that the Commission has signaled its desire to buy in people at the grassroots to achieve its desire to fight corruption. So it's going to be beaming its searchlight at the grassroots level, the local government councils, to make sure that funds that get there, are spent and used as judiciously. So we have the EFCC chairman who said that enhancing, so the theme for this year's was enhancing fiscal discipline in the management of local government. And the story really is that all over the world, especially in Africa, local government is structured as a means of enhancing development and service delivery, improving governance and deepening democracy. And he says that funds can never be enough. The funds get to the grassroots, no matter what, it can never be enough. And so the way you manage these resources is it's what helps and how it helps that, development and progress and growth happens. And so they're going to be watching how funds are spent at the grassroots, and they're also asking Nigerians, especially at the grassroots, to keep an eye open as well, to see when they see something, to say something. And this will help in making sure that, the little resources that get there go around and development comes to everyone. It says the large number of Nigerians live in the grassroots, and it's important that development reaches them, and the monies that's sent there is used really for them, and it's not, frittered away through corruption.
Okay. Our president is here speaking yesterday, reflecting on his administration's 6 months in office, assuring Nigerians of full manifestation of the results from next year. He gave the government kudos for the improvement on security in the southeast, south-south, northeast, and northwest, saying that Boko Haram and bandits were being routed out by security agents. He was also saying that he also thanked the armed forces for the work they've done and the DSS so far to help to reduce crime rates across the country. So we need our country to work. We need things to improve. We want to do the right things. And Mr. President is ensuring that we should just wait 2024 as things will begin to unravel and we see the manifestation of all the work they're doing this year. Toby.
Okay, so the Academic Staff Union of Universities, that's ASUU, had a celebration of the Heroes Day. And in that meeting, there was the union's national president, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, who was speaking about the heroes of our institutions. And he went on to say that so far, in the last 6 to 10 years, we'd realized that universities no longer advertise job vacancies in newspapers. And so he says that, so how have they been employing people? And he went on to say that, it is apparent, alleged that VCs will take names from royal fathers, from politicians, and then just put it as employment list, basically. And he says that he has promised that the union will fight the misnomer and ensure the restoration of sanity in these systems, because he found out also that between the last 6 to 10 years, the population of staff has tripled over the years. So how is it that there are more people coming in, but we're not finding how it is that they're coming in, basically?
Okay, Papa?
Yes, so I'm taking the CBN. The CBN Governor Yemi Cardoso was speaking concerning bank sustainability. He said that many banks have breached the loan limit regulation. So a bank is not allowed to give more than 20% of its shareholder funds to one person, that is one person or a company. And that has been happening. He also mentioned the fact that it's been 10 years since the recapitalization that former governor of CBN, current governor of another state, Soludo, ensured happened 10 years ago, which was timely. He said because 2 years after that policy took effect, where banks were made to go from 2 billion to 25 billion, there was a global economic crisis. And if the policy hadn't taken effect before then, many Nigerian banks would have been insolvent and citizens would have lost a lot of money. So in doing that now, from 25 billion, there's a recapitalization going to 1 trillion. Each bank must now have a capital base of 1 trillion, and they are hoping that this will strengthen the banks in the future. Then they mentioned defaulters, banks that have been giving excessive loans, defaulting banks to pay as additional loan loss provision, because if you give so much funds to one person and the person defaults, it would affect your capital base, and that is to protect them. But they realize there are more needs. So by increasing the capital base, they increase the loan leverage that can be given. Somebody from Access Bank was saying it was a very good thing. Everybody's looking forward to how the banks will rally around to make it work. We're hoping to see mega banks emerge. There might be some mergers that would happen from this. So.
Okay, Daily Sun, APC, Oshomole indicts Buni and Adamu. Insecurity, Ribadu laws embar as governor promises tougher measures against criminals. PDP clerk rejects terms of Fubara Wike truce. We aim at making Nigeria's upstream sector investors' destination, says NUPRC. NLC knocks FG as cash crunch worsens. NSA asks EFCC to track proceeds of kidnapping and terrorism. Budget, FG gives zero allocation to 2024 census. And Lagos to roll out 50 electric buses, 100 CNG vehicles. Okay, let me take the NSA. So the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, has commended the efforts of the Enugu State Governor, Governor Peter Mba, at restoring normalcy in the state, saying his administration has fought insecurity to a standstill in the state. This was given as Governor Mba had commended the EFCC on his success at fighting corruption, reiterating the administration's commitment of his administration to waging remorseless war on corruption and insecurity. It's not like they just complement each other. Anyways, so speaking at the event, Ribadu, who was special guest of honor, reiterated the federal government's commitment to the war against insecurity and corruption across the country, adding that the president would ensure law enforcement agencies do their work to the optimum. And so that's pretty much what was said. Let me see if we can go on a break. Yeah, go ahead, take your story.
So this is Lagos State. The governor of Lagos State yesterday commissioned the 4th flyover constructed along the Lagos Rail Mass Transit. That's the Red Line. And they says this signifies the completion of the 37-kilometer rail network connecting Lagos and Ogun states. So it's described as a T-shaped overpass planned along a 10-level crossing along the rail alignment. It will eliminate pedestrian and vehicular interference on the tracks. The flyover significantly reduce the risk of accidents and collisions between the trains and vehicles. And this is expected to move more than 500,000 passengers daily when it becomes operational. It stretches from Agbado to Oyingbo with 8 stations at Agbado, Iju, Agege, Ikeja, Oshodi, Mushin, Yaba, and terminates at Oyingbo. So, you know, this is fantastic. We are excited about it. But he also mentioned that in 2024, it will be rolling out 50 electric buses for passenger operations in pilot phase. This is following the completion of proof of concept on the feasibility of the use of non-combustible engines as substitutes for fuel-powered vehicles. And it says the governor is saying this will enable Lagos to progress to a zero-carbon program with the expectation of becoming an emission-neutral city by 2050.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Let's go on a quick break now. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Still reviewing Sun. Toby, you have a story there?
Yes, the chairman of the Senate Committee on National Population Census, National Population Commission, Abdul Ningi, yesterday told members of the National Assembly that there was no provision made for the 2024 National Population Census that is going to happen. And so he said because there was no budget made, there's already an existing 200 million naira that was spent by the NPC. And if a budget is not made for that, there would be a loss for the nation. He went on to say that if the money for the census is not provided for in the budget, the country would lose about 200 billion, which had been spent by the NPC. And so in reacting to that development, the chairman of the National Assembly Committee on Appropriation, Solomon Adiola, said that it would ensure that the country looks for money for the MPC, such that they are catered for the 2024 population census. And so there's been a back and forth between both institutions saying that we want a budget for this because, one, we've spent in the previous year, we've spent in this 2023, maybe in setting up things that are going to be used for the census next year. So we're hopeful that there'll be a review of the budget to accommodate the MPC.
Okay.
So I want to take the story about the upstream Petroleum Regulation Commission. The Chief Executive Officer, Gbenga Komolafe, was speaking about the fact that he plans, the goal is to make Nigeria upstream sector, the investors, like it would make investors destination, that investments would come into the Nigerian upstream sector. He said the regulation process is focused on ensuring that there's respect for the rule of law, leakages to revenue will be mitigated through a number of measures. And he said, most importantly, this would ramp up the Federation revenue. He also thanked the Sun newspaper, said that they've always been factual in how they carry out their reporting. And he said that the focus would be on respect, that they will not be left behind as a nation within the industry. The upstream sector is a sector that we have been talking about for a very long time, waiting for the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill. And now that it has been passed, we still haven't seen much effect. So I'm happy that he's saying that they will be doing some things there. Hopefully, it will bring revenue to the country.
Moving on quickly now to Vanguard. No price too big for peace in Rivers, says Fubara. Supreme Court verdict, I'm not broken, I'll be victorious, says Nnamdi Kanu. Back in day to show you must work for unity of traditional council. $19 billion Dangote refinery gets another 1 million barrel of crude oil. Zenith Bank listed on World Finance exclusive list of top 100 global banks or global companies. Kaduna bombing, anyone found culpable will be punished, says CDS. Telcos to block subscribers without NIN February 28th. And Naira scarcity unacceptable, says Labour. Okay.
Telcos, telecom companies in Nigeria have warned subscribers who have yet to link their SIM cards to their NIN. And if they don't do this before February 28, 2024, they will lose these numbers permanently. They said this warning was made by the Association of Licensed Telecommunications Operators of Nigeria, ALTON, and it's coming after many, directives from NCC. They've given different dates that, NCC had given to make sure that everyone, have their NIN linked to their SIM. And this is just really, as we understand, our country is trying to put our data together, link us for, with the, just make sure that getting information for security purposes and things like that. So if up till now you haven't done this, it may set off a red flag. And so the telcos are saying you would lose your number permanently unless you do that before the 28th of February 2024.
Okay, so yesterday, Ogbomoso was abuzz as Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State urged the newly installed Shoun of Ogbomoso, Oba Gandhi Afolabi Olaoye Orumogege III, to use his office to foster unity amongst traditional rulers in the state. Makinde made the call yesterday in the presentation of the official staff of office to the new monarch held at the Ogbomoso Township. He said, I urge you to use your wisdom and experience to foster unity amongst your colleagues, the traditional rulers. Makinde also commended the people of Ogbomoso for their peaceful conduct during the selection process for the new monarch. He praised the kingmakers for their diligence and integrity and assured them of his administration's support. He also pledged support of his administration for all the monarchs. Your role as royal fathers goes beyond Ogbomoso, but you are the father of all. You are to influence across the entire country and the state. I'm really, really happy for him.
Yeah, congratulations to him
to
and
the
all
new
the people of
king.
Shaun of Ogbomoso.
There was something you said. There was a...
Oromogege.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody has hailings, the way they hail their people. In Rivers State, however, they are fighting for peace. Or rather, the governor, Fubara, has said that there is no price too high to pay for peace. This is as major PDP elder statements have said that this is not right, that this peace accord, the truce, the 8-point agreed truce is undermining the position of the governor and that it shouldn't be agreed to. But the governor himself was speaking at the third convocation of the sixth Founders Day ceremony at Pamo University of Medical Sciences in Iriebe town. He said that there's no price too high or too big to pay to ensure that peace prevails. He has assured that he will continue to pay the necessary price to guarantee peace within the state. He also said that the provision of educational quality system, while that some progress have been made in the state, but a lot more will be made under his administration. He's asked people to calm down on the statements being made by those that support him on how the agreement undermines his position as the governor of the state. I feel that the people, if the governor is not complaining, then maybe we shouldn't complain. But there are some things the elder statements are saying that will form a precedent that would go beyond the governor.
You know what happened during Jonathan's time? People were criticizing him of conceding, saying, what's wrong with you? We usually fight for these things. So people are different. People don't like peace. They don't like ruffle. So, yeah, story? Yes. Go ahead.
So about 2 weeks ago, we saw that there was a delivery of 2 million barrels of crude oil to the Dangote refinery. And so yesterday again, we found that there was another addition of 1 million barrel of crude oil. And so we're hopeful that production will commence earnestly. And as a result of this will create jobs and it will help our foreign exchange also.
Even the baby in the womb.
Yeah, he's waiting for Dangote refinery.
I dare come to Nigeria, please. That refinery.
Now that we know that they are
already collecting.
Crude has to be delivered. Let's pray that refined.
Yeah. You know, they told us the first one they gave them is not enough to give us PMS, just the jet A1 fuel. So we're hoping with this one it means.
Remember, there's somebody who's owing us information. No?
Who's that?
Port refinery.
Yes.
End of this month. Which day is that one? That's next week, Friday. Waiting. Port Harcourt, Federal Government of Nigeria.
The silence is very loud.
Federal Government of Nigeria, we are waiting. December 31st, you said to us categorically
it's going to be working.
That Port Harcourt refinery will be working. We are waiting. Today's date is what?
20th.
Yeah, so 10 days.
10 more days.
Okay, let's see how that goes.
We'll be fine.
Okay. Nigerian Tribune, Rivers, no price too high. We talked about that already. Crime alert, boss bags 75 years. Imprisonment over investment scam. Give Tinubu real feedback from Nigerians, Fayemi tells Ganduje. No provision for census in 2024 budget, says Senate. Zenith Bank listed in World Finance exclusive list of top 100 global companies in 2023. Okay, which story?
The national security. Did you take the story about the NSA? Nuhu Ribadu mentioning that he was commending Peter Amba.
Yes.
Was that the exact story? It's funny enough.
No, but you can take it again.
No, there's
Nigerians not here.
We've heard it already.
So Zenith Bank, hallelujah. Zenith Bank has been listed in the World Finance 100 2023.
What are the only ones?
This thing released by World Finance Bank. Let me see this thing properly.
Okay.
Zenith Bank, a Nigerian bank, has been listed in the World Finance 100 2023, released by World Finance magazine, achieving the feat as the only Nigerian bank, only Nigerian company in the prestigious exclusive listing. Zenith Bank's inclusion in this elite list underscores the bank's outstanding performance. Okay, this one is
marketing.
But the reason I'm celebrating Zenith Bank is because whenever I drive through, I just bless.
What they've done.
I just bless Zenith
one person took responsibility.
I just bless Zenith Bank because it's like a tourist attraction. You cannot come into Nigeria and not go to. The way I'm telling you to go and look at the ball drop. If you enter Lagos, please go to Ajose Adogo because they have done a huge work, a humongous work to sustain that culture. Of lighting up Ajose Adogo. Listen, even if come on.
You're right. It's part of our Christmas.
Yeah, it's a Christmas. I'm taking the kids there. I'm so proud of Zenith Bank for that work they're doing. So that's why I gladly read their top 100 list.
And they were the only Nigerian company.
Yeah, they're
so
Nigerian
that's
company. So that's huge.
Something worth.
Congratulations to the entire Zenith Bank. All right, let's go. It's not that time now. We don't finish time. Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to the next sponsored segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining us to tell us more about the successes of the Women's Voice and Leadership Nigeria project, funded by Global Affairs Canada, is the Executive Director, Childcare and Adult Protection Initiative, Mrs. Evelyn Oti. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ladies.
So tell us about Childcare and Adult Protection Initiative, CCAP. What exactly do they do?
Okay, Child Care Adult Protection Initiative, and the acronym is CAPI. We work with vulnerable women and children, basically. It was actually a childhood dream, which I started in 2016, thereabout. And then we proceeded and got registered in 2011. So since then, we've worked with different partners, and Action Aid Nigeria is our current partner, and we are being funded by Global Affairs Canada. So in childcare, we advocate for women. We try to speak against abuse on women, and we work with empowerment, empowering the women. So what we do in CAPI is that we use empowerment as a tool, that's women economic empowerment and economic justice, as a tool to address gender-based violence amongst women and girls living in the communities. Thank you.
Okay, could you tell us, is it possible for you to give us a little context on the economic situation of women in Cross River just before the inception of the Women's Voice and Leadership Nigeria project?
Oh yeah, thank you very much for your question. Over the years, CAPI has worked with women in different categories and on different projects as well. So at the time we started, we realized that women who own small and medium-scale businesses, they don't go very far. And most times they struggle with their livelihood. So they struggle with things like exploitation of women-owned business. And that's where we have to talk about taxation, taxing the women in the marketplace. Meanwhile, what they're selling doesn't yield profit. So at the end of the day, the little we empower them with ends up in high taxation. So we decided to collaborate with the government. We work with Nigeria Export Promotion Council. We also work with Board of Internal Revenue Service, that's IRS, to see how taxation can be reduced amongst the women. And we can't leave out Ministry of Commerce, which we have worked with over the years, to see that the women have good income and can actually enjoy their profits. We are not saying women should not pay taxes. Of course, women should pay taxes. Every income earner in Nigeria is meant to pay their taxes, but they shouldn't be exploited. That's a way of working out what the women should pay, and this should be known to the women. Because when we started our advocacy up to the state government, we were told that what is being collected in the local government, level is not approved by the state government. So we had to look at this. Thank you.
Okay, so what are some of the immediate results from the actions taken by your NGO and the government? Because I've seen that you'd mentioned some collaborative work that have gone on. So what are the immediate steps and the interventions that the women are currently experiencing as a result of the work that you do?
Okay, yes, so for us to actually yield good results, we couldn't work alone. So thanks to Action Aid, we were permitted or allowed to work with community-based organizations on the project. That's another part of the project, the WVL project, the Women's Voice and Leadership Nigeria project. So working with the CBOs, we could find out what was going on in various communities, in various local governments. So we work with the community-based organizations that are domiciled in these communities, understand what the issues are, and then from there, we work to solve the problem. For instance, in Bakassi local government, there were issues of young girls being exploited or harassed in the marketplace, because most times when they come for these taxes, the girls, the women are unable to pay. So most times their goods are being seized, and then they face other forms of abuse. So based on this project, we're able to create awareness. We did awareness creation, there was sensitization, and we also work with tax justice platform in Cross River State for the government to understand that, hey, these women are being exploited. Harassment should not come in place at all. when collecting taxes from the women and the young girls. So far, there have been some results whereby the state government in Cross River State has actually looked into this. So in some communities, like the Biafra local government, for instance, we worked with the tax master to see that the women have now paid less tax compared to what they were taxed before. And in Niger local government, we actually had interaction with some of the women, the Gary sellers and all of that. So they said to us that they were charged sometimes multiple hundred nairas in a day. So sometimes they could pay up to 500 naira or 300 naira or even more in a day. So due to the awareness creation and the advocacy by the project, that has been reduced to, I think, 100 naira a day, but we are still trying to advocate to see that 100 naira should be reduced to what they are actually meant to pay. Thank you very much.
Okay, so you already mentioned the people you've been able to collaborate with, but I'd like to find out from you in the area of funding small businesses that are owned by women, that is in creating this environment that is enabling them to thrive economically. What would you say the government should do? Like, how would you like the government to play? What role would you want them to play?
Okay, yes. Right now, the government is actually, the Cross River State government is actually working towards reduction of tax. I mean, reducing the tax further, although the women are already enjoying that peaceful environment in the marketplace. They're not being harassed. Yes, the tax is being reduced, but the government, we are still trying to push, working in collaboration with the government to see that these taxes are reduced further. However, there are other areas that needs to be looked into. One of it is free interest loan, if possible, and then grants for those women. In CAPI, on the WVF project, we were able to provide startup items for the young girls and the women who learned in our skill acquisition centers. However, we lack funds most times to give them to grow their business. So if the government can come in here, I think it will go a long way to improve on their livelihood. So if that platform of free interest loan or grants can be given to the women to encourage them in their businesses, and also further trainings, because apart from giving them startup items, we also try to provide financial literacy trainings for the women to understand how to manage their business and still yield profit and make progress. Back in those days, we would hear women empowerment, whereby items are just being given to the women, no monitoring, nothing is done. At the end of the day, the women still go back to the same poverty line they were. So we are trying to see where progress will be made over time by their life, that's by the women themselves. So if the government can come in there to see how these women can be helped financially, because that's that's one of the major gaps we actually discovered on the project. So I think for me.
Okay.
Okay, so if we were to talk numbers and reach and successes of the Women's Voices and Leadership Project in Nigeria, what would you say are the notable changes and impact that this has brought to Cross River State?
Okay, yes, one of it is the reduction in tax, and I'm so happy that almost on a weekly or monthly basis, I see some circulars from the government of Cross River State, addressing issues around tax and efforts made in that area. So that's one outstanding success story there. And then for the community-based organizations we've worked with, most of them now understand how or why women should be empowered and why women should come together to speak against abuse of women. So the women themselves now take responsibility by themselves to speak for themselves in various communities. Take, for instance, in Bakassi local government and even in Bekora and down to Obudu local government where we have worked, the women form groups. There's this collaborative efforts to see that their fellow women are helped in the community. In the local government, we have the community-based organization that's speaking on widows' rights. I mean, these are communities whereby after the death of the man, the widow is no longer entitled to anything that concerns the man, and she suffers with the number of children left behind for her to cater for. So now, due to this project, the women have been able to get back their farmlands. They've been empowered by the project to improve on their livelihood and also send their children to school. So for us, those are some of the outstanding success stories that we can share. Actually, there are a lot more. Another one I should mention is our partnership with Nigeria Export Promotion Council. Before now, we had few women considering exports, considering going into the export market. But over time, there have been a series of trainings based on the project. We partner with NPC and have trained the women how to use their local resources, produce them, have them nicely packaged, and make them export ready.
Right.
And on the project still, CAPI was able to access one of the NEPC grants called EFPP, if I'm not mistaken, that's Export Facility Grants. We're able to access that, and that has also enabled us to commence our building project and improve on our shared butter products in the aspect of sustainability, where by the end of the project, CAPI can still stand on its own to support more women coming up in the community.
All right. I was going to ask about sustainability, but I think I'm glad you already touched on that. Thank you very much. Congratulations to all that's been done by CAPI, and I'm happy that the women are getting so much benefits from these programs and initiatives. Well done to you, Mrs. Evelyn, Oti, and the entire team.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Let's go on a quick break now. When we come back, move on to the next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining us to introduce their farm estate scheme is the head of sales and marketing, Rollout Properties, Mr. Oludotun Olaoye.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you.
Are you related to Shonwu Ofugumoso? I just saw Olaoye.
Olaoye now.
It's fine everywhere.
Eh?
Olaoye is fine.
Yes,
fine everywhere.
I know. Anyways, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Good.
So, Rollout Properties, we know you for properties. Now you're getting into farming. What's going on? Tell us about the farm scheme.
Okay, so properties and farming are not far,
Okay.
right? Because your farming is going to leverage land asset to do it. And so when you hear Rollout Properties Top Branch Farm Estate Scheme, three things it is screaming. It's screaming land ownership, it's screaming farm ownership, and it's screaming passive income or cash flow generation. So what we have done here is that we have blended these three things to ensure that this habit of buying a property and waiting 5 years, 10 years before you begin to get value on that property, how can you buy your property now and within the first 12 months, you're already getting value for that wise investment that you have made? And it continues like that. Why that piece of property is rapidly appreciating in value over time while you are still continuously enjoying the passive income that it is generating for you. So that is what the Top Branch Farm Estate Scheme is all about. When you subscribe to that scheme, the piece of property you are subscribing to or the size of the scheme you are subscribing to is yours. You get the documents, everything yours. While we carry out the farm operations in partnership with agribusiness partners. We carry the farm operations. You don't have to get your hands dirty. We love you so much. Don't get your hands dirty. Don't break your back. Don't come to the farm. We do all of that for you. And while we are doing that, we have ensured that over the 3-year farm cycle, you earn as high as 50%, right, in farm returns. So now, instead of you to not even get that 50% at the end of the 3-year farm cycle, we said, you know what? You have to start enjoying it yearly. So we'll break it down to you to get it every year. So in a nutshell, that is what the Top Branch Farm Estate Scheme is all about.
Okay.
So when subscribers, we're trying to get more information about how subscribers can take advantage.
Yes.
So what do people have to enjoy on the farm in terms of the cash income? Because you said 50% over 3-year period. Can you break that down?
Okay, so great. So there are different that you can subscribe. You know, is a scheme, is an estate scheme, and you have the opportunity to subscribe to different sizes. Land sizes as high as an acre, right, or more. Many people that have subscribed to this scheme are doing it in multiples of acres. So, for example, an acre you will be able to acquire an acre of this scheme for 1.8 million, right? And then when you do that, what we are saying is that, and that 1.8 acre already covers the cost of the land size, the land assets, and an acre is equivalent of 6 plots, right? You already cover the land size, and you already cover the farming cost for that 3-year cycle, right? And then what we are now saying is that from the first 12 months, right, every December, from that 1 acre, you are expecting a guaranteed 300,000 naira income from all the farm operations and all the whatever that is being carried out on the scheme. So your 1 acre guarantees you 300,000 naira per year for the period of the farm cycle. So meaning that when you do 2 acres, which is 3.6, it guarantees you 600,000 naira per year. When you do 3 acres, which is 5.4, it guarantees you 900,000 naira per year. So the question is, how much do you want to go home with at the end of the year? Like, without doing anything, how much do you want to just see on your phone, bam, in December? If you tell me it's 1 million naira, if you tell me it's 1.2 million naira, I'll tell you, gladly subscribe to 4 acres. And you get this. And due to a matter, that 4 acres, which is equivalent to like 24 plots, it's yours. You are not returning it back. It's yours. Which means that you can have future use and future plans, right, for that acre. So the question you need to ask yourself is, how much of this scheme do I want to own? Or how much do I want to get in passive income, you know, at the end of the day? I tell people 2 things. 1, this scheme is very, very affordable to get into, right? And number 2, this is one of the surest way you can meet your financial goals in 2024. Everybody keeps screaming to my ears on the street when I go out, when I talk to people that the economy is this, the economy is low, the economy is high, it is in the middle. My simple response all the time is always that you will do yourself a lot of disservice if in the face of all of that, you are not making any move. You are not positioning yourself rightly. That money you are holding, it will finish. That's an economy that is high, middle, and low. We take it away from you. So the best thing you want to do is put that money to use. And in the case of Top Grant Farm Estate, you are not just putting the money to use, you are also acquiring some piece of real estate for yourself. Because the area where this scheme is, Orile Lugun, is on the major express road, you know, that confers rapid land appreciation value on that property while you are still there enjoying passive income. So the ball is in your court. Would you rather keep that money, or would you rather send it out to work for you? Yeah.
Okay, so the Ashworth Estate.
Ah, wow. Don't get me started.
Can you tell us about it? I mean, and it is in Ekpe, so why should we go for that?
So if by now, if somebody tells you this, or don't know what is going on in Ekpe, so I found out that the literate, the illiterate, those that are current, those that are not current, everybody just knows that something is happening in Ekpe. Everybody knows that something is going on in Ekpe. Even the government is going to Ekpe. I've said it there on this show. Wherever you see people going to, please go there. If not for anything, go and ask questions. Why are people coming here? What's happening here? Right? Everybody knows now that if you want to acquire a piece of real estate in Ekpe, in Lagos, that gives you huge margin potential for capital gain over a period, in fact, within a short period of time, Ekpe is the place to go. We have sold Ekpe for as low as 250, 500,000 naira per plot. And please note, this is not donkey years ago. This is like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And within that space now, a plot of land in Ekpe is selling for as high as 5 million, 6 million per plot. It tells you that all of the things that are happening in Ekpe, all of the infrastructure, all of the attention that is going to Ekpe has put Ekpe on the global map. And everybody right now wants to have a piece of it for the future projects that will come. So they are ready. You think the film city in Ekpe, the airport site in Ekpe, you think all of those things will not need supporting businesses. And those supporting businesses, you think they will not need real estate. So the question is, who is going to offer the real estate? It has to be me now. It has to be you. Right? So for the sake, for the simple fact that all of these things are in this place is the reason why Ekpe is the right place to be. And I'm telling everybody that's listening to me, Ashworth Estate Ekpe by Rollard Properties is where you want to buy. It's just 3.5 million naira per plot, all inclusive, all inclusive. And if you are buying it outrightly right now, we are giving you a 10% discount on outright payment. And if you're paying installmentally, you can pay for up to 6 months with an initial deposit of 500,000 naira. And it's the festive season. There is rice, there is oil, there's everything that you...
Yeah, one round.
Big ram.
Call me and call. All right, so Ashworth Estate Ekpe by Rollard Properties is selling, and I don't want you to miss out. And I have this to say to all of our viewers and listeners in Diaspora. They have one advantage that is just an advantage, currency exchange advantage. We have our clients that what they would pay with £1,000 before, they are paying with £600. Right. So which means you have higher purchasing power to take advantage of the thriving real estate market in Nigeria now. I don't care what everybody's saying about Nigeria. People make Nigeria look as if when you're just walking on the street like this, boom. I was seeing on the news how in Northwest China or something, there's an earthquake that claims hundreds of lives. I can't remember one earthquake in Nigeria and everything like that. So now, what I'm saying in essence is that the currency exchange even favors our diasporans client more now to acquire more, to do a lot of things that they want to do.
All right. Wow, Roland, well done. So just, give us like 1, 2, 3 steps for the farm scheme. Someone has heard everything you've said and is thinking, okay, how do I start? And how do I reach out? And what are the steps I need to take?
All right. So number one is that you need to reach out to us on our call lines that I'm sure are displayed on the screen right now. You call us or you reach out to us on our media handles. Number two is that you have to decide what size you want to buy into, right? Of course, when you call us, we give you necessary documentation to fill, right? And once that happens and you secure your slot, it's that easy. You are in. Right? And the farming cycle starts in January. We have structured it that way so that every December you get what is due to you, right? You subscribe to your preferred land size, right? You do necessary documentation, you get necessary documentations, and you just sit back and relax. That's the idea. No stress, sit back, relax. You don't do nothing. We take all the stress away from you, and it's guaranteed income for you from there.
And that's all we can take.
Thank you very much.
Wish you all the best, Rollard Properties.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we move to our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be...
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so moving on to our hot topic. Yesterday, a couple of days ago, Governor Mohammed Bago of Niger State has said that no more Babanriga, no more kaftan. Especially, he was speaking to civil servants in his state, saying that the days for wearing Babanriga or kaftan into office are gone, that they must dress appropriately. And what's appropriately in normal suits, normal corporate wears. What are your thoughts? Of course, many people on social media had various views, different perspectives. Some agreed, others said that you are interfering with the culture and practice of a certain group of people. What are your own thoughts on this? Is that the right thing for him to do, or do you think he went overboard? Please call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-270-53687, 091-390-7694. You can also tweet to us at TVC Entertainment using the hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read the tweets.
I'll start.
Please go ahead.
So first of all, also, just to give a little context, he was saying that, see, according to governance, for governance sake, and because there's the rules that have been put down for governance sake, you can't come to work in this Babanriga and kaftans. So he's not specifically against wearing the Babanriga or kaftan, but he says these are what the laws say, you know, concerning governance. When you come to work as a civil servant, you can't dress this way. Now, as well-meaning as the message is, I also feel like it's ill-timed. Ill-timed because we're moving towards, as a country, as a race, as, you know, as a people, we're moving now towards embracing our culture and embracing, you know, the things that are uniquely us and seeing how we can use that and, you know, marry that with what is happening in modern times. So what I would have preferred to hear is how can we make our traditional dresses that we would normally wear, how do we make them more appropriate or convenient so that when you come to work, it allows you to do, you know, proper work. Now, as we know, Babanriga is the agbada people wear. You know how that I can imagine how cumbersome that can be. Sometimes you have that, you're writing papers, you pack it with your Babanriga, you pack it, you know, it drops off.
Like the fools now.
That's the fool.
That's agbada.
That's Babanriga. That's Hausa for Babanriga. Big riga, big cloth over it. Kaftan is with the shirt and bottom. So he's saying that, you know, that's not what governance, you know, in running of government, you can't wear that. I feel that we should look for, in fact, we already do that a lot, especially here in the South, I see, but where we make it a little smarter in a way that it does not pack up things. I cannot imagine someone who's working, let's say, in a hospital or somewhere where there are chemicals or sensitive materials and you're wearing those traditional outfits.
Right.
So.
Let me come to you, Toby. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with him?
I do not agree with him. Because I think that dressing should not be a determinant of our productivity. So there are more important things that can be considered as a means of achieving productivity. Dressing, yes, I know that there's some instances where maybe engineers would have to dress in a certain kind of overall. But if they're office work, if we're talking about the ease to achieve or to get your things done, I would have said maybe you should now say maybe a shirt and a jeans should be it, right? So where we're now classifying and saying that we shouldn't wear this as against this, I know that also there may be laws in the land in that state that states that all of that. But if over time that has been the culture of the state, and I think that it's important for us to recognize that if the law of the land or what people are used to maybe calling it culture, the culture of the state has been that they dress that way, I think that easing them into the process of not doing that again should be more acceptable rather than just saying you must not. And for a fact, there are some people that maybe out of all their outfits, that's majorly what they have. So are we saying?
Because let me come to you, talk about your thoughts on this, because everything is about perception. Sometimes when you come to work and everybody looks corporate, I don't know, there's a sense of seriousness, a sense of, okay, we're here for work. But when we are all just nice, dressed down, like, you know, it gives a feel of we're relaxing. And maybe he's trying to change the thinking. He's trying to change the mentality of his people. So he's saying, listen, we have to look at work differently. Work is not home. There has to be something different. What are your own thoughts when you heard his summation?
I have to just think of colonization. Until we break out of it, we would continue in this circle. And the truth is, we need to look at countries who were colonized and have been able to still hold on to their culture. Case in point, India. So, wardrobe, our dressing tells a lot about us. India also had to battle it. They had to redefine what formal outfit is, because if you were colonized by the British, your formal outfit is a suit. But is a suit appropriate in the north? No. It is not in any way appropriate in the north to wear suit. Even if you have AC in your office, the person will go outside. It's like when we're wearing outfits that suit their weather and does not suit our weather. So we need to redefine what formal outfit is, and it is not a case of what you wear that will determine if you work or you don't work. I also think that usually when something is already a law, and they want to start implementing it, people are a bit uncomfortable with it. So he was saying that this was already the law, and going from the new year, we will now be complying with the law. I feel that laws are made to be reviewed. I also believe strongly, because I know that the kind of heat I'm experiencing in Lagos, if it is in any way close to what they were experiencing in Niger State, that already in December, I'm worried about what the weather would be like, and I think it is important we dress appropriate for our life experiences in Nigeria. So, number one, I am not a fan of the governor's statement. I feel like it does not conform with our culture. Number two, I feel that what we call formal wear needs to be redefined over and over again based on the environment you find yourself. And number three, I feel like the social media feedback that he got should make him also do another video to explain his intention. Because I hear Mariam trying to explain, okay, Babanriga is usually very cumbersome and might be complicated. We all know if you work in a lab, there's an outfit for lab. Engineers have their outfit. Doctors have their outfit. He wasn't talking to doctors, engineers, or those whose work, occupation has a specific uniform. He was talking to civil servants who come to work.
Okay, I'm happy that you even went there, because there have been conversations that have happened in hospitals where some people believe that their traditional and religious outfit should come before the professional outfit. And it has caused like tension. Mm-hmm. Your religious or traditional outfit is not safe to wear in this environment. You should look for something else. You should wear something. So and many people always see it as an attack on their culture, as an attack on their religion. But sometimes it's just to say we need to find a better way to do this. For me, this conversation is about marrying both. We are Nigerian, or I'm Northern, or I'm Muslim, or I'm Hijabite, and this is who I am, but I work here. In what way can I wear my outfit, my cultural outfit, that also respects the working environment without too much taking away from my identity or taking away from my beliefs? I think that's what this conversation is about. Now, about what he said and the feedback he got, many people did not like it, because they felt that, as usual, here are Nigerians looking for how to be more Western than, even the West. But it's also good that it happened, and on the scale that it happened. Then now we can have the conversation going forward. Yep. What should be appropriate dressing for the workplace? We love our outfits. Yeah. There's nothing wrong. In fact, I mean, all the time. But sometimes, whether we like it or not, let's be honest, there are some things that we wear that
are inappropriate.
They just don't fit in that space. On like when we do like our Christmas shows and holiday shows, and we wear the gilets and everything, can we sustainably do that every day of the week? No, we cannot. But now we have where we are wearing our Ankaras in skirts or in jackets, and it's not to be more Western, but also just to be more appropriate for the work environment.
I get that. I agree with what you said about the fusion. We have to find a way to bring that thing together. However, there's always that. I was using the word perception earlier because I want to also see how it is seen. So perception also is about the mind. If I'm dressed like this in my up and down, you're more likely to speak to me in my language. You're more likely to be more freer with me than if I am in the formal attire. You're likely to be more courteous and more, more uniform in the language used across the room. But if you're wearing traditional clothes, you guys speak, you do Igbo and Igbo speak together, Yoruba and Yoruba speak together, outside, it kind of just reminds us of, okay, we're different. But when we are speaking English, when we are looking formal, it's also the perception of how you dress is. We're in a corporate environment. Everybody here is equal. We're here to do the work. We're not here to felicitate and be playing around with each other. We're here for the job at hand. So where he's coming from is probably that the perception, how it looks when you just come to the office all dressed, looking like you're ready to party, or you're just having fun. This is a workplace, a work environment. And I think that's the angle he's coming from.
So I get you, and that's why I said the governor, based on the feedback, should readdress the situation, because I like to give people the benefit of it. I don't know the governor personally. I've not lived in the state. I don't understand the intricacies of the challenges he's facing within the ministry
take it outside the state
that he's trying to deal with. Nigeria. So for Nigeria, across Nigeria, we sort of have this thing of dressing down on Fridays, where we do formal on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. But even at that, We have Gen Zs at work, and they don't even, there's no dress code. They come and it's idea of let us do the work. When banks were struggling with this is suit and tie, they had to create a wardrobe flexibility for their IT sector because they know that the people in this industry tend to dress in a casual way. Their work doesn't involve front desk. They're not interfacing with people, and so they can wear whatever they want to wear as long as our IT department is functional. If you like, come dressed anyhow. Dreadlocks were not allowed, but IT guys within the banking sector have locks. So they are flexible. You have to take in cognizance. You can no longer say flat rule for everybody. We no longer live in that world where you say everybody black and white. No. You say, okay, you are a woman, you can do this. You're a man, you should do this. You are in the front desk, you wear this. You are in the back room, you can wear this. Like every situation should have different, there's a word they use where in modern terms now, they will say, it should be reflective. I can't find the word. Inclusive. We should be inclusive. There's this word about inclusiveness that if I am here, I should be seen. Yeah. I should feel like you're seeing me.
Let me go on a short break. When we come back, we continue our conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this matter. And I know somebody was saying, I think in some of the messages I read, that why must we force people to wear suits in this hot sun? I think everyone said that. I'm thinking even our Babanriga kaftans, they're equally hot. Yeah. Even the women that wrap, they first wear the underneath, double wrapper, and then they put over the shoulder. And I think we are equally hot. Mm-hmm. So we can't use weather issues to say you have to wear this kind of outfit. But I think it's all about what you think is appropriate. Because I feel that, just like you said, there are different groups, different rooms, different offices for different attires, and we must be able to know which fits where. But when a governor of a state or across the country is saying, this is what I want you to look like, this is what I want you to, this is how I want you to work, why do people have a problem with that? So
okay. Yeah, so he didn't say me. He said according to the laws of governance. If you're a Nigerian, according to the laws of governance, this is how you are expected to dress.
Now, should we change that law of governance?
Yes, so I am saying in this time, he should say it differently because we're looking to be more Nigerian in our outlook in everything. And so we need to be having a conversation on how do we dress Nigerian in a corporate environment? How do we dress Nigerian and still be business smart? You know, even the Western outfits, they still have business or corporate outfit, they have casual outfits. We need to be able to define our own traditional outfits too. What is casual, what is ceremonial, and what can be appropriate for corporate environment. And I think that's where we need to go. And I'm seeing a lot of our fashion designers and, you know, a lot of people in the fashion industry, they're doing a lot of that. But I feel that is something you see more in the South. The South has embraced our fabrics, but in styles that, you know, some people would term Western or just more modern. The North seems to be very, as we know, they're quite conservative. There's a pride in how your outfit looks. That is a Babanriga. There's a pride in that. There's a pride in the long jalebia and the kaftan. But we're asking to be honest. If we're supposed to work in some environment, like some of the ones I mentioned earlier, in a lab, in a hospital, you know, as a doctor, would you prefer to see your doctor come in, or in the ICU ward, come in his Babanriga, or would you like to see him in scrubs? And what kind of scrubs now should we look for to make it more Nigerian looking? Should we use more of our Ankara outfits, you know, fabrics? So that's where I would say his conversation to lean towards. But to be honest, there are some of our traditional outfits that are just not appropriate for some corporate environments.
Certainly. Let me take this call. Good morning. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, ladies. First-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, just like a write-up I put up this morning, there is something wrong with Nigerians, colonial mentality, this colonization. We need to break off it. what is inappropriate about our dressing? We should have our own, we should embrace our culture, embrace our dressing. We can't move forward if we keep relying on this Oyinbo thing. For God's sake, we are Nigerians, we are black people. So having Babanriga to the work has nothing to do with your productivity. It has nothing to do with it. We keep relying on this colonial issue. I'm just proud of this.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ogunbanjo. I appreciate everything. We're going to be wrapping up on this, but I want to give to be another moment to say a few things before we wrap up.
Okay, and I think that for conversations like this, if we're able to say all Nigerians, I think that would be unfair because some states are actually more exposed regarding dressing. So for a Lagos state now, if conversations like this come up, nobody is going to say...
But Lagos, that's to elaborate, though. Even the fashion here is to elaborate.
Yes, exactly.
What I'm hearing us say that, even though with our elaborate fashion, we need to bring it down a bit to reduce and to make it more work appropriate. Because many of us wear all these are nice, like they look nice, but can we tone it down a bit? Can we make it look calmer so you don't distract? Because the reason why Oyinbo Bobi created their suit is to keep things simple. I don't know, I'm just...
But who determines what's appropriateness or modest
in what you're doing, right? The kind of work. You cannot be a cameraman and we are Babanriga. When they want you to move the camera, you are folding.
You'll be shocked that in the north,
1,500. In between trying to move the camera. So your work determines what you would wear. We used to...
As a civil service.
Yes, we used to do double wrapper. And in modern times, we modernized double wrappers. So they do skirts. And then they tie one wrapper. Now, they don't even do the skirt, and then they will do a wrapper that will be like, it will still have the look, but it is not
one skirt.
It's still just one skirt, and it's not even the wrapper anymore. So, Benin people used to tie velvet wrapper. It is heavy.
And it's hot.
And hot. Now, they moved to doing, what do you call this fabric? The Igbo fabric. George. Yeah. Then later, they just do a dress that would still be
you can put your beads there. We keep... Our culture is constantly evolving.
So as life changes too, we evolve. When we're much younger, when women sit on bikes, they will sit across
on the side.
On the side because they've tied their double wrapper and they can't see properly. Now the world has changed. They are very tight on and they're sitting astride the bikes.
In a bid to say our culture is evolving, we are eroding. There are some things that stand as the standard in, for example, the Benin culture, which is the two wrappers. It will come a time where in maybe another 100 years, we'll find out that those things don't exist again. And it's all in a bit to just move with civilization.
We have to wrap up on this because I have a guest. But that's all we can take on this segment. But I need, in a nutshell, really, it's all according to where you work, what you do. And we should also find a way to infuse both the Western culture and our culture so that we have, we can still have some kind of identity in the workplace. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll bring in our guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining us on the show now is a multifaceted career woman with over 2 decades experience spanning across strategy and performance management, finance, change management and culture transformation, communication sustainability, and corporate affairs. She'll also be unveiling the numerous initiatives of the government that will upscale and enhance commerce, medium and small-scale business in Lagos. Welcome with us the Honorable Commissioner for Commerce, Cooperatives, Trade and Investment. That's a mouthful. Mrs. Folashade Ambrose Medibim. Welcome to the show. Congratulations. I mean, you have a lot of work inside your portfolio, and I keep thinking, how do you get to one person? There's so much work for you to do, but just give us an idea, because one of the things I love about this show is that we break things down for the average Nigerian to understand. So when somebody hears of your job, they're not sure exactly what you do. So could you just break down what your portfolio is about specifically?
Okay, thank you. Good morning. Thank you all for having me. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, the world. Thank you for your question. Well, I'll just put it in 3 buckets in my remit. It's just really about the Ministry of Commerce, Cooperative, Trade and Investment is really about...
I have to pause you. I'm told the mic is the problem. They can't hear you at home. Let's go on a short break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have the Honourable Commissioner here with us, and she's going to answer the question concerning your scope of work of your portfolio.
Okay, thank you very much. So the scope, first and foremost, I'm delighted to serve my state, being a bona fide Lagosian, so I'm very, very delighted to and honoured to serve. The scope of the mandate of the ministry that I serve under is really threefold, and I'll just break it down as you said. It's about promoting economic prosperity and growth. It's about focusing on trade, and it's about strengthening the private sector, specifically MSMEs and the industrial sector. MSMEs specifically because when you think, I like using analogies a lot, it's just like when you're driving a car, it can't move anywhere without the engine. Mm-hmm. And MSMEs provide jobs, provide wealth, and really drive an economy. And when you think about Lagos State and the fact that in terms of 30% of the GDP for Nigeria comes from Lagos, and the fact that Lagos State is the 5th African largest African economy. A lot is riding on us to really make sure. So my mandate, I understand, is incredibly important, and it demonstrates Mr. Governor's unwavering commitment, because previously investment never used to sit in my ministry, and it's been brought back. And when you think about commerce, you think about trade, and you think about the cooperatives, they all synergize very well. And really it makes a lot of sense for all of them to be working in harmony.
So, you know, listening to you, someone and in an MSME is listening and saying, so what will be different this time around because you're, you know, commissioner? Is there something different than has always been in Lagos State, or is it just going to be more of the same?
I would like to say that, remember, this is the second administration of Mr. Governor, and there's continuity in his government as well. And when you think about the agenda, Themes Plus. The plus of it was an extra addition, and that actually stands for youth, gender inclusivity, and social inclusion. And so you can see from a start that there's been an, sort of an improvement in that. Yeah. And secondly, disruption is key. I'll just give you an example. I like to illustrate and use analogies when I'm explaining. So, for instance, we just completed the MSME Trade Fair this year. This is the 8th edition of it. And what we did differently was we made sure that it was bigger and better. And by that, I mean we moved the location. We ensured that we invited a higher number of MSMEs. We tried to make sure that we actually invited a number that were actually operating from an exportation standpoint, i.e. they're able to export their products. We ensured we had best-in-class master classes and business clinics. Key issues that a number of MSMEs are having are to do with competitiveness and attractiveness. So how do we help and ensure that happens? We made sure we ran master classes. We invited a number of speakers to come and train them in terms of digital marketing and capacity building. So I'm just giving you that as an illustration. Yeah. We recently also had our corporate assembly, which is another dimension. So these are a number of corporate organizations. And again, I think that was the 5th edition under Mr. Governor's administration. And again, what we did with that was just over a week ago. Okay. And the whole essence of that really is to listen. This is a listening governor. And we brought in a number of key captains of industry, stakeholders, business member organizations alike that all attended that event. And I proactively made sure that this time we had speakers. There's this myth about multiple taxation. So we invited LRS chairman to come and speak to the community for them to distinguish the difference between levies, fees and taxes, and so that they really understand that. In addition, one of the things, just to specifically answer your question when you spoke about trying to make sure that it's not the same of the same, was I brought in a consultant that I work with in terms of trying to enhance the ease of doing business. So we've established a platform called Lagos Government to Business Connect. The whole essence of that is previously, businesses want to go to Lagos State and they go and work with different agencies or different ministries. What we're trying to provide is a single source point of contact to make sure that everything can be done seamlessly. My ministry will be addressing that. And we explained to them and shared that. And in an unprecedented move as well, a number of the questions that Mr. Governor answered there and then. And by the way, we had Mr. Deputy Governor in attendance, the SSG, the entire EXCO, and a number of agencies all there. So when they were raising their issues, they were being addressed there and then, real time, pain points. And in addition, there were a number of further questions that couldn't be answered because the key stakeholders that need to be there weren't there, such as CBN, such as FIRS, such as SON, NAFDAC, etc. And what Mr. Governor said in an unprecedented move this year is that in Q1, we're going to have another corporate assembly where we're going to be inviting those people to come and respond to some of the pain points.
I'll get a few more questions in for you.
Okay. Regarding your initiatives, I was also a part of the last Lagos MSME fair that held, and I think that it was really beautiful to see that most of my friends were also in that space. But thinking about it, a larger chunk of Lagosians that are running businesses, small businesses, kind of like feel that this, getting into programs such as this are a bit more difficult, or they say they know who they want to call for things like that. And so a lot of people still don't accept or want to get towards attending programs or initiatives like this because there's a certain kind of mindset they have. So what's the role of the government and what is the your office doing to ensure that a lot of people are brought into the net to benefit from projects like this?
Okay, so if you recall, but one of the things that I mentioned in terms of my mandate and our focus is about driving economic prosperity and growth and strengthening the private sector, which fundamentally includes MSMEs. And if you think about it across Nigeria, we have over 40 million MSMEs. And so it's really important that I work with business membership organizations. So the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, for instance, we have so many other ones. I work with a number of them. And they're the ones that I can work with, the National Association of Small-Scale Industrialists, NASA. I can go on and on. So I'm working with them. Because as they say, it's, you know, what's that proverb? If you walk alone, you go fast. If you bring everyone in,
you go far.
You go far. And so I understand that. So understanding the entire stakeholder ecosystem is very important. So I'm working with them. And a number of these fairs we've had at that. Another thing is about competitiveness and attractiveness. So I'm going to be working on an export policy as well. Capacity building, when we think about AFTA, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, if you think about Nigeria and specifically Lagos, it's important that a number of these businesses are really strengthened in that way and they understand. So I'm working with Manufacturing Association of Nigeria. Where I'm going, I'm giving you this context is the impact is not just going to be coming from Lagos alone. Yes, we're going to be the overall arrowhead, but I will be impacting and contacting them as much as I can, which is why I mentioned those business membership organizations. I go to their events, I attend those events, and I make sure that we work together. And another thing that I mentioned is they can come to me. That's why I've set up that Lagos Government to Business Connect platform. And we're going to have a physical location as well. And my intention is to have a number of more events. I've only been 3 months in role, but I will make sure that that is going to happen.
So Raya said we try to let people understand breaking things down.
Yes.
I still feel like if someone, a businesswoman is watching or a businessman is watching, running business in Lagos, what will be your, how do you want to judge yourself? Like, what would you say, I have done well by like a year from now? What would be those metrics that would be relatable to the person watching who runs a business here and now found out that we have this honorable, that she's so eloquent, she knows so much? How will she feel the impacts? What would you say you've done to help the person?
Well, I believe feedback is the food of champions. I also understand that data is very important. And so one thing I am working on is data, understanding exactly where we are. And that's why I said I'm having these sessions, because I need to understand. I'm also having sessions and working with a number of consultants to try and understand what the strategy and roadmap for the ministry is going to be. I can't boil an ocean, neither can Lagos State, but it's important to focus on those key priorities. And when you think about it, Mr. Governor is really, his commitment to ensuring that he makes sure that there's an conducive business operating environment. And the pain points are access to finance typically for most of these MSMEs. Power is another one that is, making sure competitiveness and policies. So again, making sure that I understand who those stakeholders are and working categorically with them.
Now, one of the key things I would like you to touch on is the part of investment.
Yes.
Because our federal government is going shopping, looking for FDI, coming to Nigeria, we're ready for business. And many of them, the gateway is usually Lagos, because they come in to Lagos first and see what's on ground, what's available for them to do. In your own view, there are many Nigerians also living abroad are watching this show right now thinking, okay, what are the opportunities? I want to come home. I want to invest. Which ministry do I go to? How do I know the options? I don't want to just fall into somebody, a scammer, to take all my money. How do I come to Lagos and say this is where I can bring in my money to actually invest in the state?
Well, the good thing is Lagos State is open for business. We recently came back, I'm sure it was all captured nationally, whereby Mr. Governor took Lagos State to the City of London and categorically demonstrated that we are not only open for business, we're a growing economy. And so the sectors are identified. A lot of the investment opportunities from an infrastructure standpoint are very clear. And they're not only just clear, they're also, there's evidence that a lot of investment that Mr. Governor has put in his mouth where the money is, in terms of, you know, we've established the Blue Line Rail, that's been established, phase 1, phase 2 is forthcoming. We also have, you know, a number of other infrastructure investments that are very clear. We actually have a deal book, which I'll have brought to me in a moment. I have a deal book which breaks it down by sectors. And also within my ministry, what we said is a one-stop shop. So the intention, again, is to have that very clear. So anyone, and I'm going to make sure that's situated on the mainland and on the island, to make sure that those that want to come and invest actually have a point of call. And it's very important, which is why I said one-stop shop. So that's going to be very clear. In terms of incentives, because these are some of the things that they'll be asking. So we've been very proactive in identifying those incentives and trying to make sure that it's conducive. We also have the Lagos International Financial Center, LIFC, which has also been set up to make sure that from the back end, what are those policies that will encourage? And so people want to come to Lagos, an investor typically can get a visa within a day or two. Yeah. Do you understand? All those operational things need to be addressed as well. And so we're working with that, and that's been established. So the whole value chain has been thought through. So it's just beyond just coming. There's a lot of steps that need to be put into place for that.
Can I ask about cooperatives? I'm so sorry. Yes. So cooperatives globally is a platform for entrenching growth to stimulating the economy grassroots level. And we do have a lot of cooperatives, and I know that they are well supervised. What's your vision for cooperatives within Lagos that would help to stimulate the growth we want to see?
To have many more registered, to have many more making impact. And I'm delighted and proud to say that at the last trade fair that we held, we actually ran a masterclass which was well attended, and I'm talking of over hundreds and hundreds. And we had those over the 5 days that we had the trade fair. And what did we do? I actually made sure that we brought best-in-class examples to come along and showcase what impact they can make and what corporate governance looks like. So we had Total Energy, we had Shell, and we had Equakiti. From Lagos. So we had those kind of people to come in, and we ran a masterclass, and we're making sure we actually have a process in place where we actually go out and make sure we engage and set the governance process. So the intention is to have more and make sure they're all compliant. Yeah.
Okay, so today is Wednesday. Women will love Wednesdays.
Right.
So it's also about your personality, you know. And, you know, listening to you, obviously, you're well-read. I mean, look at your CV. You've worked many places and done phenomenally well and been awarded, you know, many awards as well. And I wonder, someone coming with that sort of background and then having to work in Nigeria, because we hear that it can be quite tough marrying both. How are you finding it? What would you say the benefits are, and what would you say the challenges are?
Well, the benefits is I challenge the status quo. So it's no longer, you asked me a question earlier, it's not business as usual. And I think the good thing about that is that even if it is working, and I'm sure a lot of things are working in Lagos State, how can we do it better? How can we be optimal? So that's one, because I'm coming in with not a structured pathway, for want of a better word, because my background is multifaceted: strategy, finance, communication, public affairs, and sustainability. So within that area, I'm able to bring all my experience to bear. in a lot of what I do. And the good thing is about having a really good, robust network, because there's a lot to do in a short space of time. So the good thing is my 26-odd year experience, both in the UK, Europe, and in Nigeria, allows me to capitalize and leverage the networks that I have. And the fact that we're in Lagos, it says a lot more. Mr. Governor, Mr. Deputy Governor, SSG, the entire cabinet of Lagos State is powerful, influential, and it's leveraging those and how we can work together in a harmonized way. I just mentioned to you that at this corporate assembly that we had, proactively, I knew that was a pain point because, recall, I've come from that private sector, so I know that's something that has always been an issue. And it was highly appreciated. In fact, the feedback I'm still getting from that corporate assembly is phenomenal, and it's good. Okay, so I think there's more questions I could go on.
Okay, knowing your experience,
yes,
it's really beautiful to have you be in the government now. And you know, quite a number of people will say, government people, just leave them. They have a certain kind of behavior. But we see that you have to work with them. And obviously, with the achievements that you've reeled out, there have been so many things that you've achieved. So is that just a myth, or really you just had to work with them? Tell us your experience working with government staff, knowing where you're coming from, really.
I'll be candid.
Yes, please.
It's very interesting. I'm learning a lot from them. And I believe that it's reciprocal. And when I say that, there's a lot of bureaucracy. But having said that, where there's a will, there's a way. And the good thing is, it's about really winning hearts and minds. Now, when I get them to understand, take part, take pride is my mantra for my ministry right now. And when we had the trade fair, I was delighted that the entire ministry came out on the closing ceremony. And I said, how do you feel? We had the chairman of APC come to close. We had Mr. Governor, Mr. Deputy Governor also attend, who represented Mr. Governor, attend the opening ceremony. That in itself demonstrates the unwavering commitment of Lagos State to that. And for each of those ceremonies, across the entire 5 days, they attended, we were all there. It's unprecedented. Prior to that, we all came to work on Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, which is unprecedented for typically civil servants. But they did it. And my point is, I'm incredibly proud, and I'm saying this on camera, everyone in the ministry, I'm very proud of what we achieved, and I know we look forward to next year with a lot more transformation.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I think that's all we can take. The show has ended. I mean, we could just go on and on listening to you, because we love to see women do a lot of work. We love to celebrate women who are doing great things, and you're definitely one of them. We celebrate you. Well done. And we'll be looking forward to the event next year, and hopefully get more viewers to attend.
Yes, definitely.
That's all we can take on today's show. I hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.